have a confession to make. I've never liked Predator. Part of it's due to my reflexive disdain for these sorts of legacy franchises that seem to have somehow acquired an endless wellspring of sequels no matter how much garbage they vomit into the world. Part of it's the same problem I have with Terminator. Schwarzenegger stomping around like a living caricature, not even trying to act, undermines the tension and takes me out of the movie in what is on paper supposed to be a suspenseful thriller. And honestly, a big part of it's just the overwhelming 80s cheesiness of it all. Some people might find it nostalgic, but as someone who isn't from that area and has no real fondness for it, I've always found it more irritating than endearing. Still, I've often had a suspicion that it's a property I might be able to get into if someone took a different approach to it, and Prey, the latest installment, has more or less confirmed that belief. I was honestly surprised by how much I enjoyed it, to the extent that I'm kind of baffled by the decision to not release it in theaters. Seriously, if goddamn Morbius can get 2 theatrical releases, surely we can spare a little theater space for this. But then Warner Brothers just scrapped 2 almost complete films, so clearly the inner machinations of Hollywood are just beyond my feeble comprehension. Prey wisely chooses to scrap any connections to 2018's execrable The Predator, instead opting to take the franchise back to basics. Gone are the convoluted attempts at an overarching mythology. There's a predator, it hunts people, they have to try to turn the tables on it, and that's about it. What makes this installment novel is instead the setting. Prey takes place in the 18th century and follows a group of Comanche on the Great Plains. Our lead is Naru, a young woman chafing against the gender roles imposed on her by her tribe. A chance encounter with the franchise's titular antagonist has her resolve to prove her worth by hunting down this new threat to her people against the wishes of her well-intentioned but overprotective brother. It's a very basic girl power narrative, but lead actress Amber Midlander sells it well. The plot is very lean and minimalist, and at a little over an hour and a half, Prey is a film with a narrow vision, the kind that plays out its basic premise with style and craftsmanship but no extra frills. And in my opinion, it succeeds admirably in that regard. The cinematography is beautiful, capturing the sense of a pristine wilderness and providing the audience a real sense of time and place. The film spends a good chunk of the first act just soaking up the vistas and giving us a little bit of slice of life of Naru's tribe. Some viewers might find it a bit on the slow side, but honestly I didn't mind. Once the action picks up, however, it does not let up. This is a Predator movie through and through, and it is really violent, with some of the gnarliest kills I've seen on screen in quite some time. In particular, the sequence where the Predator faces down a group of delightfully repulsive French trappers is sure to become the highlight of the film for many viewers. When it's not indulging in its brutal fight scenes, Prey also delivers on the tension front. You really get the feeling that the characters are being stalked, with the omnipresent sense of peril persisting even when the Predator is off screen. There's none of the 2018 film's strange attempts at humor to undermine things, thankfully. This is very much a thriller. My one complaint is the final confrontation with the Predator. While the film makes a point of properly setting up and paying off the Predator's weaknesses, without spoiling, it feels just a touch contrived, with the placement and timing involved seeming just a little too implausible for my tastes. Still, that's a very small nitpick for what was, on the whole, a really solid film. I get that after the 2018 film, basically anything would seem like a step up by comparison, but this one really does deserve the praise it's getting. It actually reminds me a little of The Invisible Man from 2020. Both films emerged from the wreckage of bloated, disastrous early installments and managed to become surprise successes by jettisoning the extraneous franchise garbage and focusing on doing justice to the core identity of the property instead. Whether you're a franchise diehard or a more skeptical viewer like me, don't sit on this one.